Imagine giving away a pair of shoes that would be later worth more than most people make in a decade. That's exactly what happened to Michael Jordan's game-worn Nike Air ships, but that's just one of the mind-blowing stories we're sharing today. From Olympic glory to championship moments, these 13 pairs of shoes aren't just footwear. They're million-dollar pieces of sports history. At number 13, we have the Air Jordan 11s Bread, $34,160. Let's kick things off with a classic that any basketball fan would recognize, the Air Jordan 11s Bread. These iconic shoes earned their place in history during Game 3 of the 1996 NBA Finals when Michael Jordan faced off against the Seattle Supersonics. We're talking about a game where his airness dropped 36 points while wearing these beauties. The black and red colorway, hence the nickname Bread, has become legendary in sneaker culture. The $34,160 price tag might seem steep, but when you consider you're owning a piece of NBA Finals history, worn by arguably the greatest player ever during one of his championship runs, it starts to make sense. Number 12, Air Jordan 6, $35,000. Moving up our list, we come to the Air Jordan 6, a shoe that holds a special place in basketball history. The story behind these shoes is fascinating because Jordan himself was involved in their design process, working closely with Nike to create something truly special. Released in 1991, these shoes became iconic when MJ wore them while securing his first NBA championship. What's particularly interesting about the pair that sold for $35,000 is that they were the ones Jordan wore during the 1991 Olympics. While you can find regular Air Jordan 6s starting at around $400, these Olympic-worn shoes command their premium price because they were actually on Jordan's feet during international competition. Number 11, Nike Hyperdunks, $37,740. When we talk about revolutionary basketball shoes, the Nike Hyperdunks deserve special attention. Back in 2008, Nike was looking to shake up the basketball sneaker world with cutting-edge technology, and they knew exactly who to partner with: Kobe Bryant. These shoes represent a pivotal moment in basketball footwear history as they introduced several innovative features that would influence basketball shoe design for years to come. The particular pair that sold for $37,740 were the ones Kobe wore during the 2008 Olympics, where he led Team USA to gold. Number 10, Air Jordan 1s, $39,600. Now let's talk about a true sneaker icon, the Air Jordan 1s. These shoes aren't just footwear, they're the foundation of sneaker culture as we know it today. The pair that sold for $39,600 in 2016, mind you, was worn by Michael Jordan during his rookie year, making them especially significant. What makes these shoes particularly special is their historical context. They represent the beginning of the most influential athlete-shoe partnership in sports history. This particular pair shows visible game wear, which only adds to their authenticity and appeal to collectors. Number 9, the Air Jordan 3s, $50,000. The Air Jordan 3 holds a special place in sneaker history, and there's a fascinating story behind its creation. Released in 1988, these were the first Air Jordans designed by the legendary Tinker Hatfield, who would go on to design many more iconic Jordan models. The pairs that command $50,000 or more at auction are those worn by Jordan himself during the 1988 season. Number 8, Diamond Reebok Question, $65,000. Now, here's something different on this list. The Diamond Reebok Question, which takes us into the world of Allen Iverson's signature shoes. Released in 1996, the Reebok Question was already a legendary shoe, but the diamond version took things to another level. By 2004, when basketball shoe sales were declining, Reebok made a bold move by introducing actual diamond-encrusted shoelaces to create buzz and renew interest. This $65,000 pair represents the intersection of basketball culture and luxury fashion. The shoe maintained its classic silhouette that Iverson made famous, but added an unprecedented level of luxury with its diamond embellishments. Number 7, the Nike Air Ships, $71,554. The Nike Airships hold a special place in basketball shoe history as the precursor to the Air Jordan line. What makes this particular pair even more special is their provenance. Jordan gave them to a Lakers ball boy after a game who kept them for 30 years before they were auctioned in 2015. These shoes represent the beginning of Jordan's NBA journey and his relationship with Nike. The Airships were essentially the testing ground for what would become the Air Jordan line. The NBA's reaction to these shoes, finding Jordan for wearing them, actually helped create the rebellious mystique that would make Air Jordan so popular. The preservation story of these particular shoes, kept by a ball boy for 3 decades, adds another layer of fascination to their already significant historical value. Number 6. The Air Jordan 12 Flu Game, $104,765. The Air Jordan 12 Flu Game shoes tell one of the most legendary stories in NBA history. Sold for $104,765 in 2013, these shoes were worn during Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals when Jordan put on one of the most gutsy performances ever seen on a basketball court. Despite being visibly ill with flu-like symptoms, barely able to stand at times, Jordan scored 38 points and led the Bulls to victory over the Utah Jazz. What makes these shoes particularly special is that they witnessed and survived one of the most iconic performances in NBA history. The black and red colorway has become synonymous with perseverance and mental toughness. These shoes don't just represent a design or a game, they represent the heart of a champion who refused to quit despite physical illness. The fact that Jordan had to be helped off the court by Scottie Pippen only to return and dominate the game makes these shoes a symbol of athletic greatness and determination. Number 5. Air Jordan 11 Space Jam Sample, $176,400. Now we're entering some serious territory with the Air Jordan 11 Space Jam samples, which sold for an impressive $176,400. These shoes are unique because they were custom made specifically for Michael Jordan to wear during the filming of the movie Space Jam. What makes these particularly special is that they're the only pair of their kind in the world. The fact that these were worn during the filming of a movie that would introduce Michael Jordan and the NBA to a whole new generation of fans adds to their significance. Number 4. Michael Jordan's Olympic Converses, $190,373. Taking a step back in time, we come to Michael Jordan's Olympic Converses, which sold for $190,373. These shoes are particularly significant because they represent Jordan before he became Air Jordan. Worn during the 1984 Olympics in a game against Spain where Jordan scored 20 points, these shoes mark the end of an era. What makes these shoes especially interesting is that they were worn just 3 weeks after Jordan was drafted by the Chicago Bulls, and they were the last time he would ever wear Converse in a professional game. These shoes represent the transition point between college Jordan and professional Jordan, between Converse and Nike, between prospect and superstar. The historical significance of these being the last non-Nike shoes Jordan would wear professionally, combined with their Olympic heritage, makes them incredibly valuable. They tell the story of Jordan at a crucial turning point in his career, just before he would begin his journey to become the greatest basketball player of all time. Number 3. Nike Air Jordan 1, Game Worn and Signed, $560,000. When we talk about groundbreaking auction sales, this pair of game-worn and signed Air Jordan 1s that sold for $560,000 in 2020 definitely fits the bill. These shoes are special, not just because they were worn by Jordan himself, but because they represent the beginning of the Air Jordan legacy. The shoes show visible game wear with scuffs and signs of use that authenticate their history on the court. What makes these particular shoes so valuable is the combination of factors. They're game worn, they're signed by Jordan himself, and they're from the original 1985 release. The shoes feature the iconic Chicago colorway, white with red and black accents, that would become synonymous with Jordan's career. Number 2. Nike Air Jordan 1 High Sneakers, Exhibition Game, $615,000. Moving up to our second most expensive pair, we have the Nike Air Jordan 1 High Sneakers that sold for an astounding $615,000. These shoes have a unique story. They were worn by Jordan during a 1985 exhibition game in Italy. What makes these shoes particularly special is their preservation story. After the game, Jordan gave them to Gianni Bertolotti, the Italian basketball team's captain who had personally requested them. Bertolotti kept these shoes for over 35 years before they came to auction. The shoes are in remarkable condition considering their age and use, showing authentic game wear while maintaining their structural integrity. And finally, number 1, Michael Jordan's Nike Air Ships, $1.47 million. Finally, we've reached the pinnacle of our list, the most expensive basketball shoes ever sold. These Nike Air Ships, selling for an unprecedented $1.47 million, have a fascinating story that changed basketball footwear forever. Designed by Bruce Kilgore, who had previously created the iconic Air Force One, the Air Ships were meant to be a revolutionary team shoe suitable for all players. What's interesting about their design is how they differed from the Air Force One. They removed the Velcro strap and introduced more color by featuring an upper segment around the ankles and edges around the laces that matched the swoosh logo. The story gets even more interesting when we consider the timing. Nike was still working on Jordan's signature shoe, the Air Jordan 1, in 1984, so they had Jordan wear the Air Ships during his rookie season. Jordan debuted these shoes in a black and red colorway that didn't comply with the NBA's uniformity rule, which required players' shoes to match their team uniform. The league wasn't happy about this and warned both Jordan and Nike that he'd face fines and possible suspension if he continued wearing them. But here's the genius part. Nike turned this controversy into marketing gold. They used the NBA's banning of the shoes to create a legendary commercial promoting the upcoming Air Jordan 1, which featured the same controversial colorway. This brilliant marketing move helped launch the Air Jordan line into the stratosphere of popularity. The particular pair that sold for $1.47 million were worn during Jordan's 5th NBA game in his rookie season with the Bulls and are the first known game-worn autographed pair from his NBA career. They represent not just the beginning of Jordan's legendary career, but also the birth of modern sneaker culture and sports marketing. That wraps up our countdown of the most expensive NBA shoes ever sold. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Which of these legendary shoes surprised you the most? And hey, if you enjoyed diving into basketball history with us today, make sure you're part of our team for future videos. Smash that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss out when we drop new content about basketball's greatest moments, players, and of course, the shoes that helped make history. We'll see you on the court.